I know, it's a lot of books. Hey, what's up? I'm Allie and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book haul, and lately I have just been really wanting to own all the books. I've bought more books in this past month than I probably have in like over a year, like with my own money combined. I don't know, I just wanted to buy all the books. I went and treated myself at a Barnes & Noble for the first time in forever. Normally I just don't buy books from there because they're quite expensive, and also I just haven't been buying books, but I just really wanted to own a lot of books lately. I don't know what it is. Before we get into this book haul, I do want to quickly thank today's sponsor. You already know. It's Book of the Month. I absolutely love Book of the Month, and I am so happy that they continue to work with me and sponsor my videos. Thank you very much, Book of the Month. If you don't know what Book of the Month is, it is a monthly book subscription service. A curated selection of books, about 5 books each month, and different various genres, and a mixture of debut and exciting authors. So, you know, there's a lot of different options to choose from. One of my things is that you really just can't beat the price of this subscription, and it's a great way to really expand your library or try new things without really having to worry. As I said, bookstores are expensive sometimes, so I always think that it's a really great price. I always look forward to their selections and know that there's going to be some gold picks. Plus, if there's ever a month where you're in a reading slump or you're just not feeling any of the picks, you can choose to skip at no charge at all. So, oh, I have a code down below that you can use, hardback order, to get your first book for $9.99 as well if you're interested in trying it. I have this month's selection here, so we can talk about the books that you can get for this month. There's some goodies. The first one is Damnation Spring, and colors on this cover are beautiful, stunning. I love that. I want to work this color palette into my home. But this is about a family that has kind of lived in this small town that is all about logging. They've all grown on logging. This is that logging is a pretty dangerous job. So we follow a small family, and Rich is working in the logging business, but he wants better for his son. So, unknown to his wife, he buys quite a plot of land, the 24/7, I think is what it's called. His wife, on the other hand, is realizing that there have been these like herbs and stuff that the logging company has given them, and at first she thinks it's harmless, but then she is having issues with losing pregnancies, and so are the other women in their community, and she thinks something is up. The fish are disappearing from the rivers, there's all these mudslides happening, and she thinks there's more to it than that. So this is also kind of about the family reckoning with these secrets that they're holding, and also the secrets that the company is holding, and the logging business, and all this other stuff. So it sounds like it's quite a mystery as to like what is happening, and also just a reckoning of a family. We have The Heart Principle. I'm sure this is a highly anticipated release for a lot of people. This is from the same author who did The Kiss Quotient, I believe. This is about a woman who is a violinist, and she gains success like overnight when a YouTube video of her goes viral, and then her long-term boyfriend decides that he wants an open relationship before he settles down. So she decides that she too is going to try this by having a whole string of one-night stands, and the more unsavory the man, the better, basically. But she comes across Quan, I believe is his name, and he is like a tattoo motorcyclist, you know, really rocking out, total opposite of her. And every time they go to have a one-night stand, it fails and fails and fails because they just connect, you know? So then some new burdens are put on her, and she is kind of drowning in these expectations, and they really just have to fight to figure out what they mean to each other. Not a happy family. This one sounds so good. Okay, so this is about Sheila and Fred, and they're rich, and they live in like this really expensive neighborhood, and you know, the thing is about being rich is that money can't save you when a killer comes to call. So basically, both Sheila and Fred are murdered after having dinner with their 3 adult children, and of course everyone is shocked. Well, or so they should be. The thing is that apparently they were not actually a very happy family, and Fred and Sheila were kind of shit parents. So we find out that the kids also are inheriting a lot of money. So it's like, what happened? Did it have to do with the kids? Did someone else show up? Did someone else have ill intentions? And they figure something, it can't be the family, because if there was a murder in your family, you'd probably know, right? But I don't know. It sounds pretty good. Next we have The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina, and this one sounds so spectacular. I'm gonna say this about everyone, but they just all sound so darn good. Basically this follows the Montoyas, the matron of the house. She is very secretive and they know better than to ask her for anything. One day Orchidia invites them to her funeral and they can get their inheritance and whatnot, but when they get there it is not quite what they expected and she turns into a tree. Over time, the things that this tree sprouts is different for each of these descendants, essentially. And then they have to struggle when someone decides that they're going to come mess with the tree and kind of come after their family and ruin the family tree. They're trying to pick them off kind of one by one as they're going to Ecuador, where her final resting place was, to see if she was buried with her secrets. I don't know, this just sounds absolutely fantastic. Some magic and fantasy kind of sprinkled in. It's stunning. And then the last one is probably my top pick, and I think that just mixes a lot of things that I really love, and that is Once There Were Wolves. I love this cover so very much. But this is about a woman whose sister and a team of biologists, I believe, and they are tasked with introducing these gray wolves back into the wild. And she is just like so done with humans. She has seen humans do so many nasty things. She's had a lot of trauma kind of deal, but basically once someone is killed within the town, she already knows that the town is going to turn and blame the wolves, but she decides that she needs to protect these wolves at all costs and is in denial that her wolves would have any part in this. But then the question is, if the wolves didn't, who did? Who murdered someone? So, I mean, I love nature and I love mystery, and it's relatively short, but I think that this sounds just very dark and eerie and fantastic, like a perfect fall read. So I'm really excited about this one. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. Again, if you are interested, I do have a code that you can use, and I will have a link down below. So, yeah. Do we want to talk about my nasty spending habits this past like week? This all happened like within a week. In any of my past book hauls recently, you'll know that I'm currently in the middle of collecting all the Goosebumps books. So I kind of order these as I can, as I see them available. So I got The Girl Who Cried Monster. I'm looking for very specific editions. Why is this not like, okay. The Girl Who Cried Monster, The Ghost Next Door. I feel like this one's a classic. We also got The Haunted Mask. I just always think of the show for this one. I think that was my first introduction to that one. And then Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. So these are just some of the Goosebumps I am adding to my collection. I'm not going into those. If you're really interested, you can look them up. They're kind of pretty predictable. Like, this is obviously probably about some scientist who creates monsters. This one is about a ghost next door. This one's about Haunted Mask. Great explanation, Allie. Good one on that one. I also, as I said, I treated myself. I went to Barnes & Noble and treated myself and was like, I'm gonna buy some things that are like, I was like, I just want to buy some things, you know? And when I went to Barnes & Noble, there was 2 books that I couldn't find. I was really upset. One of which was Jade City by Fonda Lee. I have seen a ton of people raving about this, so I really wanted a copy. However, Barnes & Noble didn't have it, so I ended up ordering it off of Amazon. But I am so excited. I do believe that the last one, I think this is a trilogy, and the last one comes out this year. So I'm pretty excited that I think I'm just going to get them all and then just binge them, because they seem like they're really bingeable. A lot of people have been like upset they've had to wait for the last one. Who isn't upset when that has to happen though? I'll be honest, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of hype around this book. I don't know if I actually know anything about it. It doesn't really even give me that much on the back. Like, I don't know where a synopsis is. If there is one, it's not on the book. The only thing is, for centuries, Greenbow warriors have used magical jade to enhance their abilities and defend the island. However, the war is over, and now people are trying to get control of the capital. And we follow 4 siblings of the powerful Cow family, and they must prepare for battle. The fragile peace between the clans is about to break, but I just heard absolutely fantastic things, so I had to get this. And then the other one, so I actually read the ebook of this and just knew that I had to have this series. A lot of you had recommended this to me on Twitter, and I was like, I gotta see what the hype is about. And I'm so glad that you all did, and I decided to check it out because it was fantastic. We Hunt the Flame. So I had to have this. I had to have a physical book because I want to go back through and tab it up. I didn't get to tab this as much as I probably would have liked, mostly because I was going off the notes that I did on the ebook. I would like to go back through and tab this some more, but it's just absolutely stunning. This is a magical world where magic has kind of disappeared, but there is this like dark forest that makes people kind of lose their minds, or they just disappear and never come back, and it is growing and it is covering the world. And we follow Zafira, who they call her the Huntress, because she can go into the woods and return like nothing happens to her. So this is like everyone is shocked. So then she is kind of tasked by a witch one day to go and find this book of magic to bring magic back to the lands and destroy this forest. And she's like, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do it. We also follow Nazir, I believe. I am butchering these names. Anyway, but he is an assassin. I love broody assassins, and he has been tasked to go and kill her. But of course they come, you know, along the way. There's a great cast of characters in this and kind of a found family effect, and it is just absolutely, oh, it's so good. So naturally, when I was at Barnes & Noble, they didn't have this, which was rude. They only had it in paperback. I needed it in hardcover because what would I be if not the hardback order? And so I had to get We Free the Stars, which is a sequel. I had heard so many people talking about like how good We Hunt the Flame is, and after I was halfway through it, I was like, I gotta go get it. I had to go get the sequel. I know I'm gonna want to start it like as soon as I'm done We Hunt the Flame. And yeah, just yeah. It's so good. I believe this is a duology, so I think that this is it. And I'm so excited. I already have a tabbing system in place, and I am ready to go. I actually pulled this from my nightstand because I am going to start this like as soon as I'm done here. So I'm very excited. I'm so excited. Just, oh my god. Look at our characters. Oh my god, we have our broody little assassin. Broody assassin and our little huntress. Excuse me. Oh my god, I love it. And more fantasies, just more fantasies that I really want to get into. I'm going to be talking about some fantasy series that I'm interested in started, so I've been kind of like collecting them. But the next one is The City of Brass. I had a hard time finding a hardcover, but I think I've seen that a lot of people have a hard time finding the hardcover of this. They had a hardcover of all the other ones, except for this one. I was like, I'll just get the paperback because I want it so bad. And I think it'll be fine just because it is a bigger book, so I think like paperback will be okay, I guess. Again, another one I don't know much about, but I've heard a ton of rave about. We follow a con woman who is just trying to, you know, get by, but she accidentally summons I believe a soldier one day, and something happens, and they have to flee where they're at over these like dangerous sands and whatnot to head to like this magical legendary city that is just full of what steeped in magic and fire, where blood can be as dangerous as any spell. And of course they are on a collision course. There is, as with most fantasies, we have like a line of fate that we are following. Our main character is destined for something there. So excuse me, sir, is that your box now? I don't know, this sounds so darn good. I really like the traveling across sands thing lately, apparently. And then the last thing that I bought from Barnes & Noble was the Final Girl Support Group. This is one of my most anticipated releases for the year, and I'm also planning to buddy read this with a friend, so I had to get this. Do I know anything about it? No, it's just the title. The title got me. I also read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and really enjoyed it last year, so I thought I would read something else by Grady Hendrix. So this is kind of a play on what happens after the final girl, like, survives. We always see in the horror movies what happened, like, the final girl survives, she's the last one standing, blah, 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 but what happens after the fact? So we follow our main character, and basically she has been meeting with 5 other final girls, I believe, and a therapist, and they have each other. Like, they are each other's rocks until one day one of the girls doesn't show up. And she realizes that someone knows about their group and is trying to attack their group and rip them apart piece by piece. So I am interested in this. I love this cover. This cover is so neat. So I'm pretty excited about that one. I've seen pretty good things about it too. So, and then I have I recently posted my Fairy Loot unboxing, and the book that was in it was Fire with Fire. Absolutely stunning cover. We got sprayed edges, we got embossing underneath, we got artwork under the cover. Absolutely stunning. This follows 2 sisters who are dragon slayers, and things, you know, they've always agreed that kill or be killed when it comes to dragons. That is until one of them actually forges this rare and magical bond with a dragon and has to question everything that she has ever been taught. And as she is trying to get her sister to come to the other side, her sister is like, something's wrong with you. I gotta bring you back. Like, this is not how we live life. You cannot have, like, a dragon companion. You just can't. So they end up fighting with each other in order to try to, I guess, convince the other one of each other's sides. And they are dealing with some really deadly magic that is beyond what they are even capable of. So I think that this sounds so good. This reminds me a lot of the last Namsara, I believe. I really enjoyed that book, which is also about a dragon slayer who ends up befriending dragons. So, love it. Pretty excited. I tend to really like dragon books. I love dragons in books. I think more than I realize, I really like dragons books. Like, a whole lot. I suddenly, like, this is just now a realization to me. And then I got one more book in a box, and I actually did not realize that I was getting a whole box with this book. I thought I had just ordered the book without realizing that it was a whole box apparently, but I was still pleasantly surprised. I ended up getting the Illuma Crate special edition of From Blood and Ash. I just need you all to see how beautiful this is. Also sprayed edges, and it's stunning under here. Beautiful. I think my favorite thing is actually the back of the book. Oh my god. Beautiful. Beautiful! And it's kind of the same thing on here. I think if I display this, which I probably will, it will be with the dagger facing out because it's just beautiful. I've read this at least this first one. I haven't read the rest of the series, but I did read this first one and really enjoyed it. It's about the maiden, no one can look at her, no one's allowed to talk to her kind of deal until her ascension. That is until a bodyguard comes along and kind of changes everything that she knows. And also there's like this impending war going on, and maybe everything that she knows isn't quite what it seems. But I didn't realize this came with a whole box of stuff. I had no clue. And like, honestly, I don't really have a lot of interest for most of the things in the box. Like, this came with a mug, but honestly, I don't really use my bookish mugs a lot. They just kind of sit and collect dust, and it feels like a waste. And it also came with like a book sleeve, a really nice book sleeve, which is nice, but again, not really something I'll use. And there's also a blanket in there, and then there's some sort of coin. There's like all kinds of, it came with like a fake dagger. The dagger was the coolest part, but I just did not know. I was not expecting a whole ass box. The last thing I have to show you is the one thing I checked out of the library. I haven't been checking anything out of the library because I've been really bad with my fines. Lots of late fees. But I saw this one and I was like, Okay, that sounds really good. This is The Disappearing Act. This follows a young woman who is trying to get her big break. She wants to be an actress, so she's come out of town. She is trying to get this role, and she ends up meeting this girl called Emily, and they kind of really hit it off, and she feels like she's a lot less alone. That is until Emily goes missing, and she realizes that she was the last person to see Emily. And she's like, okay, she can't help but feel like something has gone really terribly wrong. On top of that, though, the police don't believe her. They're like, no, she's not missing. No, she's not. So she has to try to uncover this herself while risking the role of a lifetime. But I thought that sounded so darn good. I thought that sounded so darn good. Those are all the books that I acquired last month. I've already been ordering more books. So I'm sure I'll have more to show you again next time. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I am so excited. It's been this a while since I've been this excited about so many books. Again, I just haven't had the passion to want to go out and buy books for a while. So now I'm just like, gimme, 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 gimme. Anyway, hope you all have liked this video. Don't forget to subscribe to see future videos from me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. There's so many. There's just so many. Oh God, it hurts. Ugh. Okay, now I'll put them all away.